Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode, I believe, 5, I think, maybe something like that, of the Philly 4 pod. And more importantly, your Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl, so this will be like a maybe 20 or less minute little talk about, the big game and what the Birds can do to win this game, key matchups, and we'll gloss over, actually, right now to begin with, look at what they did in that NFC Championship game, what they can hopefully replicate in the Super Bowl, and just some key updates with injuries and what happened in that NFC Championship game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. As you can see, I have the hat on. So it's a big week, and as I'm recording, this is Thursday. So only 3 more days till the big game, and you know, this is what the Eagles have been striving for since 2 years ago when they played the Kansas City Chiefs and sadly lost 38-35. We all remember that holding call on James Bradbury didn't go our way, and then the Chiefs kicked the Harrison Butker field goal, and that was the ball game. Now, before I talk about who they're playing in the Super Bowl, the matchups, let's just gloss over that amazing NFC Championship game where the Eagles miraculously had that game in Philly. So they played their rival, the Washington Commanders. They beat them 55. Yes, you heard me right. 55-23 at home in Philly. Now, just get into these stats. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a day. He had a day, 20 for 28, 246 passing yards, a touchdown. 2 A.J. Brown, who had 96 receiving yards on 6 receptions. Saquon Barkley, another hat-trick game where he had 3 tutties. Only on 15 carries, 118 yards, including an absolute rip on the first scrimmage play for your Philadelphia Eagles. They come down, first play, little toss to Saquon. Saquon's gone. Breaks a tackle or two, spins out of it, tutty. First play of the game. And that came after a drive where the Washington Commanders had the ball for, I think it might have been like 5 minutes, maybe longer than that. And then the defense stood tall. They did their job. Like, the defense did their job, and they held them to 3, which is huge, big, very big, very cool. But, you're like, oh no, they just had a long, sustained drive for most of the quarter, and it's the first, not most of the quarter, but still, like, and that's a big tone setter. What if that just is too much for the Eagles to comprehend and get back of, and maybe the defense is going to be tired, and let's see what they can do with this drive. And they come out first play, Saquon Barkley tutty. That was a tone setter. I think that's a play where you watch the game, you're like, uh-oh, Commanders had a long drive, and then you see that, you're like, confidence. Like, that's something that when you watch that, and even the players, you could tell, were just like, oh, okay. And I had a feeling of, after that Saquon touchdown, like, we're not losing. It just feels like we were just inevitable that day. And shout out to Will Shipley later getting his touchdown. But, when you come out and set the tone, like the Eagles set the tone, and it was all game. Turnovers, having our way with the Commanders, them not being able to do much, making Jane Daniels make even just a few mistakes is huge. Shout out to Oren Burks. He made a multitude of really big tackles and really big plays with his brain and his tackling and everything. He's been playing really well. But that game, all game, after that Saquon touchdown, you thought all game, they might not be able to lose this game. The Commanders didn't really stand a chance the entire game as you watched it progress. As you watched it progress, you were like, damn. Even Commanders fans would probably agree with me. I doubt any are watching this, but if you are, tell me. They definitely felt like Jane Daniels has been good all year. We've been good. but we're just not winning this game because there's a multitude of plays, especially in those early stages where it made them feel diminished. And there was a chance coming into the second half that maybe there's a chance of a comeback because they were still down pretty big. But then they just come out sluggish. Eagles attack them like they should, and they always do. So we're a good football team. Not saying the Commanders aren't. And then they ended up winning 55-23. I saw somewhere some Commanders guy, or maybe a fan online or something said, if they score 30, we can drop 40 on them. You bet you didn't even drop more than 20. Barely. This Eagles defense, I have to give them credit. What Vic Fangio has came in and done off rip after the defense we saw last year with guys like James Bradbury, with guys like Reddick struggling, and all these other guys that were struggling, even the guys that we have now weren't doing what they do now. And getting that guy in C.J. Gardner-Johnson back and drafting well, and Vic Fangio just being the genius he has been, because he's been in this league for 70 million years, and now he finally gets a chance to have a Super Bowl, which is so cool. But we just don't know how that's going to go, because the Super Bowl, and you're against an inevitable opponent, but we'll get into that. Shout out Quinyon Mitchell. Like what I was just about to say before I said that. Like, you made him, meaning JD5, Jayden Daniels, who's a very good quarterback. I love him. I have him on my dynasty team. I hope he does well in his career. But you made him make mistakes. You took him and you said, we're not going to just let you have everything. We're going to play tight defense and good defense on you. And we're going to play our game. We're not going to succumb to your stupid little offense you have here. Yeah, we'll let you get your fourth down, fake punt, whatever. Yeah, sure, we'll let you get your little fourth down conversions and your little check downs and maybe one or two deep plays. But we're gonna play our game. And that's what they did. Everybody did that. Everyone on the defense bought in last week, all year, has bought into that since that bye week and was like, we're gonna play our style. We're not gonna let any of these other teams come in here and dominate us. And that's why they're the number one defense in the world, undisputedly. And just a few more things about this game was like, Jayden Daniels looked uncomfortable. Terry McLaurin looked uncomfortable. And I have the stats right here. Like, Zach Ertz was the leading receiver, and Zach Ertz, I love him. Eagles legend. It did kind of hurt eliminating him, but, sacrifices needed to be made for this Eagles team. And love Zach Ertz, love what he did for us. Without him, the Super Bowl doesn't happen in 2017. But it's just like if Zach Ertz, an old, aging, almost retired Zach Ertz, is your leading receiver with 104 yards on 11 catches, and he was dominant all year. Like, he was the only guy that felt like could do a lot against this Eagles team that game. And even though Terry McLaurin had one tutty, like, it just didn't. I was going to say it didn't move the needle. Like, at all. It almost was like, cool. We let you have that. And it was a very important play because it had the Eagles and they saw that touchdown happen and they didn't get worried. They said, okay, fine, they're going to score, but we're not going to let a lot happen after that. They did. So, yeah, and then the NFC Championship. And I just want to touch on that, the trophy celebration and then the relationships that were shown there and Jeffrey Lurie kind of talking there. Terry Bradshaw asked Jeffrey Lurie, how does it feel that this Eagles team, is there any surprise that your Eagles team made the Super Bowl? Like, what's the feelings? He said it's expected. And it is. Like, that day, the second Saquon Barkley was announced as a Philadelphia Eagle, we got Zach Bond, we got all these other guys, and even if you didn't realize it at the time, That was when we went all in. And it was enough. And it was expected. I came in here expecting them to be a very good football team. That's what they were. I was coming in this season expecting them to be as good as they are. And it was expected for them to win the division. It was expected for them to go to the Super Bowl. It was expected for them to dominate, have a good defense. It was. Now, maybe not to the extent of Zach Ball becoming the best linebacker in football after being a special teams guy for a team like the Saints. That's a little shocking. Just a little. But this defense, I love it. I love this whole team. This team's fun. The fans are into it. Gilly doing his little stupid dance to blow the whistle every time they win. Coop and Q, their relationship has been amazing. Saquon, he's a great football player. He's a great guy. Making the commercials for a sleeping pill or whatever. Telling the Giants owner, like, yo, here's how you can sleep because I'm not going back. And there's just so many components of this team. They've been doubted all year. They've been doubted all year from the start to the end. And they went through it. Oh, passing game this, passing game that. Oh, they had a good game in passing game against Pittsburgh. Oh, well, still a bad passing game. Shut up. They've been doubted the entire time. Like all year. All year they've been doubted, and they've consistently won. Jalen Hurts, consistently doubted, winner. Saquon Barkley comes here. Oh, well, he's been hurt. Who cares? Comes in here 2,000 rushing yards in a season. That's hard to do. Like, that's borderline impossible to do. Who else? Like, everybody. Oh, Jurgens replacing Kelsey. Kelsey, great center. He's retired. Will they be able to do a tush push? Will Cam Jurgens step up? He did. He's a tough son of a bitch. You know? Like, he just is. Landon Dickerson steps up in the center. He gets hurt. Cam goes back in. They're all tough. Nick Sirianni. I was a guy that was debating whether maybe they should fire him after that bye week. Oh, he's been doubted. Everybody, all Eagles fans could say, love Sirianni, but I have had my doubts with him. I have, at one point, called for his job. Everybody has. And if you say you haven't, that's just straight up BS. And everybody. 941 doubted him. 97.5, me, all these other podcasters. Even my grandpa wanted him fired after that bye week. And to be fair, they were 2-2. But he's been doubted. Everybody's been doubted. So it's really fun. It's really fun to see this Eagles team beat this Eagles team. BG coming back for a Super Bowl. Speaking of that, there's a big game on Sunday. So let's get straight into that. Now, we got 10 minutes here, and then I'll yap for 10 minutes and go on with their life. The Eagles play the dreaded Kansas City Chiefs, and they played them before. I said it at the beginning of the show. I said it multiple times in my mind, at least. Like, they played this team in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Mahomes, very good. Very good quarterback, best in the world. They're going for a three-peat. Kelsey, I will never diss Kelsey. Jason's brother, Travis. Taylor Swift, the refs have definitely been on their side. I'll touch into that when I talk about the matchups. But very good team, and the Eagles are playing them once again. But and somehow, some way, the Eagles are not favored in this game. The Eagles have the better team. I can say that with utmost confidence. But this is the Kansas City Chiefs. They raised their performance in the playoffs, especially that quarterback. And their defense is good. Spags, gotta give him credit. He's been around for a while. Not as long as Vic Fangio, but he's been around for a while, and he's done his stuff. And it's just like they're gonna come in this game trying to eliminate Saquon Barkley, but you gotta do much, and that's matchup number one. I have 3-4 matchups that I want to talk about. Matchup number one: the Eagles and getting Saquon Barkley involved versus the Chiefs defense and Spags, and what they've had to go through. They're gonna have to go through. Sorry, Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the world, undisputed. Thanks Giants. He has been ridiculous. But man, this Chiefs defense is good. Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, and Spags knows what he's doing. Like straight up, Spagnuolo knows what he's doing. And Steven Spagnuolo is a good defensive coordinator. He knows the game. He knows the schemes. He fakes blitz. And he doesn't blitz all that often, but situational. And he had 2 weeks to prepare for this football game. Same did the Eagles. But that just gave him time to almost just lock in on Saquon Barkley. And it's not concerning. In fact, let me pull it up, but I believe Saquon Barkley is about to have a day. And I think the Eagles are a better team. And I asked my dad for a prediction. He said they're going to kill him. The Eagles are going to kill him. And that's possible. This Eagles team is so much more talented. Here's my, on Stadium Live, no plug. Here's my bets. Eagles to win. Saquon Barkley over 112.5 rushing yards. A.J. Brown over 71.5 receiving yards as a parlay. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Saquon Barkley Super Bowl MVP. And Mahomes under 251 passing yards. The Eagles will win this game. My prediction, I have it written down. I sent it to my dad. My prediction was 31-28 Eagles. I think they do a lot in the ground game, the Chiefs, but I do think the Eagles will win this game. And matchup number 2, going back and kind of not going off the rails, Super Bowl, it's exciting. It's very easy to talk about, all this other stuff, but gotta stay on track. Matchup number 2. And there's so many matchups to choose from, but I'm going to say Worthy versus Quinyon. Worthy's been so good. He's such a fast player. He dominated the Bills, and the Bills could have, would have, should have beat the Chiefs if they stuck with the run, and that's another reason why I think Saquon's going to have a day. But Quinyon's been consistently, and NFL honors are tonight, so we'll see if Saquon wins MVP, down it, Offensive Player of the Year, Bond, all this other stuff. But Quinyon's been Defensive Rookie of the Year, material at least, even if he doesn't win it tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see a rookie versus rookie. See how I guess Quinyon handles it, and see how Worthy handles it, and see how that kind of maybe plays into this football game. Against the Super Bowl, people are gonna have to step up, and I think Quinyon will. 3, not really a matchup, as for the last specific thing I'm gonna focus on. But Max Lober, whatever, covers football on TikTok. I might put his stuff down below. He said there's always one obscure touchdown scorer. Mine is Jahan Dotson. I want to talk about Jahan Dotson. He hasn't been used all year. He has a few touchdowns, a few nice plays. Really hasn't done anything. Last year in the Super Bowl, Mecole Hardman, game-winning tutty. Surprising. Year we lost to the Chiefs, Kadarius Toney making a huge impact and making scoring touchdown. So my obscure touchdown scorer, at least to make an impact, is Jahan Dotson, the guy that hasn't made an impact all year, a guy that good receiver, got traded from Washington, and we'll see how he does. But I do think he could make a big impact, and I am very excited for that. Now, score prediction 31-28 Eagles. Anyway, this Eagles team is so much better. If you just go band for band, roster for roster with these two teams, the Eagles are far and away the better team. They have the better offensive